Hey all my viewers, welcome back to Disturbing Kreationz DIY. And I know I haven't posted for like 2-3 months, but I've been getting a lot of stuff done on my auto business. We just started making a ranch in the back of the property for our pets friendly channel for friends and family to enjoy. So if you want to see that kind of stuff, please look down below in the description. Grab one of those links of the 4 other channels that we have. We have a little bit for everybody. But now we're back to some of the construction of the property. So today we're going to take these new Anderson dual pane windows with argon gas in them that are very insulated and made with a composite on the outside. Because I really don't like PVC and I really don't like wood. But this is a new material that's kind of made out of some PVC and some other chemicals that I really just don't know because I'm not a window guy. But I do know how to put it in. So we're going to cut this old window out right now and put this new window in. And why are we doing this, Damien? We're doing this to save you money because we want to save money. So let's just take a hypothetical here. If this window costs $200 to buy just this window, it's going to be about $200 of labor to put this in. Now let's say you got to buy 10 of these windows to fill your whole property. Now 200 times 10 turns into 2,000. We got $2,000 worth of windows now. Labor was the same price, so now we're at $4,000. Well, I'd rather put that labor money back in my pocket, and I know you would too, because that's why you came to a DIY channel. So if we can get the windows and do it ourselves for half price, we're gonna do it and put that money towards other things on our property.
All right, so this is the outside window. And you can see that's the original window from the add-on. And you can see where I painted the house with the air gun, with the sprayer that I got it over on the molding there, a little blue on the side over here. But I really didn't care because you see on the bottoms it's damaged and this one even looks worse. So we're gonna take those out. Now, on the outside, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna climb up there, and if there's any caulking around the old brick molding here and the asbestos old tile, you have to cut that because when you pull the molding off, it'll break the tile pieces. And I already did that on the front windows and then had to recut those pieces and mount them back in. We don't want to do any of that. So I'm going to get the ladder out. I'm going to get up there and get around the molding. Then we're going to go inside. We're going to take the molding out from around the window on the inside. And then we're gonna start cutting the window out.
So this is going to be the inside of the window here. And today we're gonna be doing this one. So what we're going to do first is we're going to just remove the blind. You know, clean it up, get it separated, get everything out, don't rip it off. And then we're going to take this molding off the ends because then we can see the frame of the window behind the molding where it meets up against the drywall. And I'm going to show you where that is. Then we're going to take this piece of drywall, or this piece of molding off down here. Then this is a window sill. So this piece and the piece that's connected on that go down flat are the same piece. These are very old wooden windows. And we're replacing it with Anderson by Craftsman 2-pane with argon gas inside. Now, these windows are not replacement windows. These are original manufacturer windows, which means when you build something, you put these in first. They have this lining. So a replacement window won't have this lining. It'll be flat right here. And then what you do is you screw through the window frame up into the window. And the reason is because outside, wherever your molding is, or wherever like your flash or whatever is underneath your vinyl siding or whatever kind of siding you have, they put the window in first in the hole, and then they put the siding up, and it'll come all the way up to the edge of the window here. So how do you get this piece to slide under? Well, I don't like those that go this way, because if you're not exactly perfect, you put nails this way, then you put nails this way, and it bows the window over time, especially wood. Wood bows very easily. These are called composite. So it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit PVC. It's not directly PVC. And these windows won't melt because we live in the Northeast and it got a maximum of 95 degrees. If I was down south, maybe I would have to get something different because I wouldn't want this, the old plasticky windows might mold or bow or something as well. This is going to be great. And then we're going to cut the siding to match this flat. Then we're going to screw it in. We don't have to worry about the nail pulling the top up, the nail pulling the bottom, the nail pulling through the side, because we're just going in all the way and we're not putting any stress or structure damage on the window. We're going to go ahead and cut that tile, put it in, and then we're going to put brick molding here. The brick molding is going to cover up this, and we're going to cut it to here, and the brick molding is going to go past. So a little bit of caulking, everything's sealed, everything's good. And when you do all this the first time, it might take a lot of time, but if you ever have to change the whole window, something breaks and you can't just change a piece like the whole window, or you want to replace the whole window, you can just take the brick molding off at that time, unscrew all the screws. The window will just come right out and re-put a new window in. If you put them in sideways, you have to cut all the nails down through, then try to hammer the nails in. It's just a hassle. You don't want to have to do all of that stuff. You have to take the brick molding off anyway to get the replacement window or the original finished window like this out. So let's just do it the right way. So the first thing I did was remove that top panel. I'm going to get a Phillips head screwdriver or drill and take these out real quick so they can be reused on the window again. And then I just noticed that this has the old school windows that so this is single pane, and then these windows are called the storm window. So we're going to take the storm window out. I'm going to bring this old storm window down and pull it out. Then we're going to start taking the molding off of here we're just going to pop the molding 1, 2, 3, 4 off so you can see the frame. I'm going to get this other window pane, and then we're going to go outside and start tearing off the unscrewing this aluminum. This is good aluminum. Don't just throw this out. Make sure you take this to the scrap yard, you know? And we're going to be keeping the windows so that we can do another project later. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, after we took the window panes out, we're going to remove this molding. So I just take a pry bar. I have a really small one, or you could get like a crow's foot that doesn't have the bubble and it's flat, and get right in here in the corners and just tap it in, a little one, and then get this bigger one, because this big one is going to damage your molding. If you want to use the same molding, you're going to do this. But this molding is so old and been painted on so many times and could have lead paint on it that I don't care if I damage it. I just want to put new on. It's very cheap nowadays. So we're just going to do all new. So get it in there and give it a little up and down. So I never push this way. Like I never push this way, because depending on where your stud is, you could pop a hole in the drywall. So if I push forward, this little tip could pop a hole in the drywall. Or if I'm using this and it gets out to like here, you'll pop a hole in the drywall. So always go up and down. So up and down. So we get it in there, and I'm gonna push down, and it's gonna pull this, because you're taking this and moving the angle. See, it gets wider. And we're just gonna go up a little bit, do it again, down, up a little bit, down. And we're always putting this as far as we can through, because we know we're touching the wood frame of the house that the window is attached to, and you're touching the frame of the window. So I know I'm not gonna punch through anything and make extra work for myself, you know? And then that's it. So we're getting these big nails out, which are ridiculous. Ridiculously big. And then now you can see like where the drywall stops. You know, they didn't paint any of this. These are the original windows from when they put in. Because if someone ever changed this molding, they might have painted all the way in and then put the molding on. That is painted up to the molding. So I know that that window's been on there since the 70s, which is terrible, you know? Then if there's any nails here, I kind of just take them out. You don't have to. But when I'm taking the window out and I'm grabbing and holding, if it slides, I don't want to rip my hand in some of these nails. So I'll just get them out now, as I do all the stuff, you know, some of them are huge finishing nails, and then you have these smaller finishing nails inside. But even though we're throwing this window out, I still take them out because you don't want to grab the window and grab the nail in the wrong spot, have to go get a tetanus shot. So you see me take the one molding out. I'm going to get the top, side, and middle, and then I'm going to show you where we're at. All right, so now I have all the molding, everything removed, and this little piece that was sticking out of this, it is part of this. It just kind of broke off. I don't know if that was a piece of molding that's a piece of this wood or it was a piece of the whole thing. The windows are just so old that I really just don't even care. I'm just glad that it's very clean now. I took the nails out so I can place my hand in different places and not have to worry about getting scratched from a 50-year-old nail, 40-year-old nail, whatever it is. And we're going to go ahead and cut the 3 or 4 nails. I think there's one on each side to put the window in. I don't like these kind of windows that nail from this side. I told you guys that before, because if you nail this side too hard, it'll bow the window, because there is gaps here where you have to shim, and we're going to show you when we install the window how to use the shims. But let's go ahead and cut this window and pull it out now. My buddy's about to be here for the install because it takes somebody outside to hold the window while I'm shimming it and getting it in place. But to take the window out, usually I can just do that on my own. But I advise you to always have a friend with you, especially if you're using tools that cut and that type of stuff. So we have a metal blade on here right now. I'm just gonna go in and run all the way down on both sides, in and run all the way down, and then we should be able to pull this window in after we remove the brick molding on the outside. So that's the last thing that's holding it in place. So let's get some more stuff. As you can see, there was nothing on the top or the bottom, and it was only like these, not even these. They used these for the molding, but then they used these little tiny ones to put 2 on each side or 3 on each side. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Boom. So now that we got the reciprocating saw work done, got a couple of small finishing nails cut, there's not really much left, but we still have to separate the outside brick molding from being nailed into the frame of the window instead of the sheathing that it's supposed to be. So I'm normally gonna get on the ladder outside, and then I take a utility knife like this, and then I cut the caulking between the brick molding and the window, and I do it between the brick molding and the shingle. So if you have the asbestos shingle or you have the vinyl, you can cut through it very easy. So you have to cut it at an angle almost flat with the vinyl that you're coming down, and cut against the window because you're replacing that. You don't want to cut straight in like this with the blade facing the house from the outside, because you'll cut through the plastic of your vinyl and you might not even see those little cuts. And if you don't put that or fix that or put some sealant on that, that over time, 5 or 10 years, could cause excessive water damage inside the fur of the outside of the house. We don't want to do any of that. So cut this way, always against the old window that you're replacing. And I'm going to bring you in to show you where I'm talking about cutting that here. But since these windows are so dilapidated and 50 years old, all the caulking fell off. So there's just a gap. In that gap, I'm going to show you real quick where I cut. So now we're hanging outside the window here. So this is the brick molding here, and this is the caulking. So I would cut the brick molding, you know, if you're going to save it, against the window and open that caulking up like this. You see how it's opening up now? It's separating, but mine is just so old. And then I have to come around this side as well and cut it here between the house. But there isn't any. You see that just a gap? It's just a gap, right? Where's my finger at? It's just a gap. There would be caulking there, but now it's just a gap because it's so old it fell off. Look, it's so nasty. You know, I was trying to move some of that and it just rotted out. So I'm gonna separate this now. And once I separate this and throw it on the ground, like the wood over there, then the whole window is just gonna fall back. The whole window is just gonna come back. So normally I would go outside to do that, but it's already rotten. It's already coming off. So I can just stick my hand in here and try to open and do it enough from here and pull it with my arm, because it's not on there very secure anymore. But I would advise you, if you're a first timer doing this, or you and your buddy or whatever, to go outside, be secure, have someone hold the ladder, and the other person up here using the tool. That way you don't have to worry if you shake a little bit on the ladder or something. Oh, they screwed it in. What the hell? Why would they do that? Why did they screw that in? The other side was nails. It's so rotten, the screws are... Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna get the last couple of pieces out real quick, and then I'm gonna pull this window in, and then we're gonna start cleaning it up. I'm gonna show you how to clean the window up so you can get the window in and have all the options to shim. You don't wanna block yourself when you're shimming. You don't wanna let the drywall hang over farther than the frame, because the window goes in first and then they meet the drywall up. If it's shimmed a 1/4 of an inch on this side, you might not be able to see that until you get the window out. I'm gonna show you everything. I'm gonna show you everything, everything. Okay, now all the brick molding is mostly off except for the top, and I'm gonna show you why it's not off the top. But the old-time flashing is like this aluminum tin that they kind of fold and staple around the window. It's got a shim piece here. So we have to get that off first, because we can't pull the window out because that's attached to the window. So we just got to like get the metal and the shim off however you can, you know. Try to bend it down. You don't want to push the window out because you don't want it to fall. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get this down and unattached. That should be the last thing. It might still be attached to the brick on the top, but I'm gonna pull the camera back and pull it out this way so it detaches from the top, and show you guys a little trick. Next thing is we have to remove this old flashing from here. So it's through the nail. So I'm just gonna bend it here where it's through the nail. And then I'm just gonna cut it with the Sawzall real quick. And then just release it. Like, you don't wanna take the nail out. I'd rather just cut it because you don't wanna break this asbestos tile and then have to replace that again. That's just a pain in the ass, I'm telling you. So here's another problem here. I have rusted screws instead of nails in here. I don't know why. Maybe they ran out. So now I gotta Sawzall these flat against the fur here. The wood here is called fir sheathing. So I gotta get these couple real quick with the Sawzall, and then we'll look at how to cut the drywall back here. So I just took a hammer and I pushed out that piece of molding right there sticking out farther from the house, but there's a nail. We're gonna get the grinder or the cutoff wheel, cut the nail, push it out a little farther, take the Sawzall and rip that down, that old piece of flashing, and put a new piece when we do the complete window install. Okay, so you see I cut that and now it's so loose I can just get the Sawzall and go all the way down now.
Alright, so when you're doing this cutting stuff, especially if you have to cut asbestos tile, so sometimes when I'm clearing out the window, this is up a little higher than this, the riser, because they used to have what the old flashing was, like a 30-degree angle. Now they have channels in the plastic window, so you don't need that anymore. But I have to bring this down sometime before I even go out to set the window and cut the hole in it. I have to cut and then cut again, which just kind of gets on my nerves. But they did it right this time on these two windows facing this way of the house, and I don't have to cut it down. So normally I wear the N52 or 4 or whatever this is with the diaphragm. Always wear your eye protection. And this, even when you're cutting this little metal stuff, it only takes one little piece of that metal to go in your eye and you're donezo. You're donezo. No more project for you. So let's get some work done. Now we got the flashing, whatever they call that, J-channel flashing, old school aluminum stuff off the bottom and off the top. Everything is clean up, it's flat surface. The last thing we want to do is we want to bring the drywall back to wherever the frame is. So if the drywall is sticking over 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch or more, because they put the window in first, then you have the shim that little bit, but there was no shims in any of these windows. I just don't understand how they did things back then. We're gonna cut this drywall flat, and I like to use this tool with a wide blade because I put the tool on the outside and I lay it flat against the frame, so it has a large surface space. So it's just kind of skimming over the surface of the wood, and I bring it to the drywall so it cuts it completely flat all the way up. Super easy, super easy. I'm gonna bring you in so you can see exactly how to do it. All right, it's a little loud, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it right here, and then I'm gonna put it in fast mode so you can just watch real quick. All right, guys. Whew. So much dust, so little time. I am going to go clean myself up a little bit, clean the area up, clean the floor up so we don't track this all over the place. Wait for my buddy to come down, and then we're pretty much set to get this window in and at least get a couple of screws in and get it shimmed to where we want it to be. And then once I have that, I can go outside on the ladder, cut the asbestos tile wearing all my PPE, get it flat against the surface, screw it in, caulk it, put the brick molding in, and then we're done. Then if you ever have to do this again on a window, 10 or 20 years or whatever you want to do, it's already done the professional way. You don't have to do any more work. Take the brick molding off, unscrew the window, pull it out, put the new window on, screw it in, put the molding in. Everything else you've done. You've modified it to an updated house than this old 1970s